Today we're going to be looking at area of irregular figures. Just as a reminder, these are the formulas that you need to know. So an irregular figure is when I take two or more shapes and I put them together to create one irregular looking shape. So the first thing I'm going to do is decompose these shapes and make them into individual shapes. All right, so looking at that first shape, I split that up to make a rectangle and a triangle. So I'm first going to find the area of the rectangle, and the formula for a rectangle is base times height. So if I look at this rectangle here, I can see that there is a base of 9 and a height of 8. So that rectangle has an area of 72. Now for the triangle, I'm going to do base times height divided by 2. So the base of the triangle is the top of the rectangle. So if I know that the bottom of the rectangle is 9, that means that the top of the rectangle is also going to be 9. Next, I want to figure out what the height of the triangle is. So it tells me that the total height of this figure is 12 feet. And the rectangle is 8 feet. So left for the triangle out of the 12 feet would be 4 feet. So that triangle has an area of 18. And now to get my total area, I'm going to add the area of the rectangle and the area of the triangle together. And that's going to give me a total area of 90. Right, in my next shape, I can also divide it here. And that's going to create another triangle and a rectangle. So for the rectangle, I have a base of 15 and a height of 9. So that's a 15 by 9 rectangle. So that rectangle has an area of 135. Next, I'm going to find the base and height of the triangle. So the base of the triangle is the top part of the rectangle. And that would be 15 meters. And then the height of the triangle is 5 meters. So that's going to give me an area of 37.5 for the triangle. And then I'm going to add the two areas together. And I'm going to get a total area of 172.5. All right, next we're going to look at finding area of the shaded region. So my first step is to identify the two shapes I have here. So on the outside, I have a trapezoid. And then inside that trapezoid, there is a rectangle. So the two shapes I have here are a trapezoid and a rectangle. So for the trapezoid, my formula is base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2 times the height. So I'm going to go ahead and plug that in. So for the trapezoid, I get an area of 100. And then for the rectangle, that is a 5 by 7. And that is going to give me an area of 35 for the rectangle. And since I just want the shaded portion, that means that I need to take away this rectangle because it's not shaded. So I'm going to subtract the rectangle from the trapezoid. And when I subtract those, I get an area of 65. So just to summarize what we just did, so when you're finding the area of the total shape, you are going to add the areas together. If part of the shape is shaded, but the other part is not, then you are going to subtract the areas. So for this one, we're finding the area of the shaded region. So the two shapes we have here are a square and a triangle. So for the area of the square, my base and my height are both going to be 9. So 9 times 9 gives us 81. And then for the triangle, the base is 9, and then the height is also 9 because that's taking up the entire length of the square. So for the triangle, we get an area of 40.5. And because we want the shaded part, we're going to take away this unshaded portion. So we're going to subtract the triangle from the square. And we're going to get a total area of 40.5. All right, in this next example, we have a half circle and a triangle. All right, so for the half circle, the formula for area of a circle is pi times radius squared. So I'm going to plug in what I have. If the diameter is 8, because that's going all the way across what the circle would be, it means that the radius is 4. Right, so when I do pi times radius squared, I get 50.24. And because that's half of a circle, it means that I need to take that answer and divide it by 2, because I only want half. So that's going to give me an area of 25.12. Right, for the triangle, I have a base of 12 and a height of 8. So I'm going to say 12 times 8 divided by 2. And that's going to give me an area of 48 for the triangle. And because I want the area of the whole thing, everything is shaded, it means I'm going to add those two shapes together. And when I add the two areas together, I'm going to get a total area of 73.12. All right, you try this one on your own. Once finished, resume the video to see if you get the correct answer. All right, you should have gotten a total area of 72. So the rectangle is 9 by 6, which gives you 54. The triangle has a base of 9 and a height of 4, which gives us a total area of 18. And then when you add the two areas together, that would give you 72. For our next example, we have a half circle and a square. So for the half circle, the 9 here is my radius. If I were to kind of take this 9 line here that I have, and I were to rotate this so that it was flat right here, that would show me that it's only halfway across the circle. Another way to look at this is that if I were to extend this out and make it into a full circle, you can see that the 9 there is only going halfway across the circle. So that 9 is the radius. All right, so to get the half circle, I'm going to do pi times radius squared, and that's going to give me 254.34. And then because I only have half of a circle here, I'm going to divide this by 2, and that's going to give me 127.17 for that half circle. All right, so for the square, we have a height of 18. And the reason I know that the base is also 18 is because I said that this here, this 9 here, is the radius. So if I were to rotate this line here so that it went straight over this, that 9 would be the radius, which means the diameter would be 18. So for the square, we get an area of 324. And now I want the total area. So I'm going to add these two measurements, and we're going to get a total area of 451.17. All right, for my next example, I have two half circles here. I have one on the left, and then I have one on the right. So if I put two half circles together, that's going to make one full circle. And then I also have a rectangle in the middle. For the circle, the 6 here is going to be my radius because that's only going halfway across this line. So for the circle, I get an area of 113.04. And again, I don't need to divide that by 2 because 2 half circles is going to give me one full circle. For the rectangle, I have a base of 18. However, the height of the rectangle, so we said that 6 was the radius of the circle. So that's going halfway across this line here. So if 6 is our radius, that means that 12 is going to be our diameter, which would be the height of the rectangle. So the rectangle is 18 by 12. So the rectangle would have an area of 234. And then I'm going to add the circle and the rectangle together. And that's going to give me a total area of 347.04.